Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Corner Bookstore. Joining me is the queen of writing. This woman is amazing, how much content she puts out and how valuable her work is. Her name is DIANN BOEHM. She is a good friend of mine, and she's one of our co-hosts here on our platform. She actually is currently co-hosting 3 shows, soon to be 4th. And she's also one of our expert presenters on our Talking Heads platform. And she's a certified elevated listener, which means she's someone that you want to get to know. Let's bring her onto the show. And then we have a fabulous guest as well. Hi, DIANN.
Hi, great to see you.
Nice to see you too. What have you written since I saw you yesterday? Anything?
How did you know?
Because I know you're always working, putting out new things.
I'm actually working on a fun short story for Christmas.
Yay! That's fantastic. Well, for folks who are joining us for the first time, I want to spotlight you before we bring out our guests. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about why you're so passionate about writing and your recent success. I'm just so proud of you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yes, so I have written several children's books and one young adult historical fiction book. What Dr. JACALYN's referring to is my latest book, A Song of Peace, just was awarded the Story Monster magazine puts out a Story Monster approval for children books, and my book just won, and that is huge. That's really huge among authors, and so I'm ecstatic about it, actually. And then there was an author book fest, and in the book fest 2022, Song of Peace won honorable mention out of hundreds of books. So I was just like elated with happiness. So that's a little bit that's going on in my world.
Thank you so much, DIANN. And I'm just so thrilled that you're here today because we've got a wonderful guest who's joining us from Canada, originally from the UK. And he is an author of thrillers and mysteries. And we're going to be talking about this collection that he's put together. So without further ado, let us welcome Robert French to the show. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Nice to have you with us.
I'm glad to be here. It's terrific.
It's so wonderful to have an author writing thrillers and mysteries, so different from me. So, yay!
But you know what? I love children's books. I love reading children's books.
They're fun.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing that DIANN has shared in the past is that children's books are really for everyone, and we can all learn something from it. So,
yeah, absolutely. I have 5 children, and I've read books to all of them over the years.
Wonderful.
Robert, we talked a little bit backstage about the fact that you were not born with a pen or pencil or typewriter or computer or something in hand. You didn't start writing until later in life. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your backstory, about what was the catalyst to have you make the transition from the industry, the career that you had, and move into this one.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was in the computer business my entire life, mainly focused on software development. And I loved software development. But I'd always enjoyed writing, even if it was just writing a report or a proposal. And at one point in my early 20s, I actually wrote a book of horror stories, which I never got published. I typed it out on an old Underwood typewriter, and it's sitting in a cupboard somewhere. I've still got it. But I just didn't know how to go about becoming an author. So I just continued with my career in computers. And my last major job was I was the chief technology officer of a startup company. And we, in 2003, we were going for our third round of financing. We'd already raised over $1 million. And we needed a few more millions for marketing. And unfortunately, there was a high-tech bubble that burst, and we just couldn't get our funding. And so there I was, out of a job. And I decided, I better find some consulting work. And I got on the phone, phoning people. And at about 3 o'clock on this particular day in March, I put down the phone, and I opened a Word document on my computer and started to write a book that had been in my head for a while. And that's how it all started. That first book, I never finished. It kind of ran out of steam. So I started a second book and got blocked with that. So I started a third book. And finally, I finished a book. And I was so proud of this.
Yay!
I actually finished a book, 110,000 words or something.
Wow.
And so this was before the times of self-publishing. So I sent it off to a bunch of agents and a bunch of publishers, and got back 70 rejection letters. Anyway, fortunately, I met an editor, a wonderful editor named Lisa Rector-Mass. And she read the book and gave me a 37-page report on the book. And I realized that this book was a non-starter. But at that time, I was doing consulting work for a company in the downtown east side of Vancouver, which is like the sketchy area. And every day I'd walk past this alley, and I'd see the alley would be full of, homeless people, drug addicts, people fighting and sleeping, and even you could see people shooting up their drugs. And I thought, my God, how awful it must be to wake up in an alley like that. And I mentioned this to my editor, Lisa, and she said, yeah, who would wake up in an alley like that? And my first thought, well, a businessman, that would be kind of fun, unusual for him. And how about a lawyer? Yeah, that would be ironic. And then I thought, no, a cop. What if a cop woke up in an alley like that and he was covered in blood? And that idea became my first novel, Junkie. And that was published in 2012. And since then, I've published 6 others. So all with the same character, Cal Rogan, who is a drug-addicted former cop.
Wow, what a story. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
Congratulations. A couple questions that I have. First of all, you mentioned that you had started some other works that, you left behind. Did you ever decide to go back and pick them up again?
No, occasionally I've thought of the book that I completely rewrote was, I've often thought about going back and rewriting that, just but I'm just too busy with Cal Rogan, and I've got a second series planned that Cal has an 8-year-old, or she's now 12-year-old daughter, and my idea is to write a book or a series of books about her. Her name's Ellie, as a cop in the year 2045, because I'm fascinated about how society and technology and the world is developing. And so I thought I'd like to create a world, not a science fiction fantasy sort of world, but a world based in a reality that I think is most likely for the 2040s.
Wow.
So I'm kind of looking forward to I'm still generating ideas and researching, but I'm looking forward to putting fingers to keyboard on that one soon.
That is very exciting and interesting. I want to talk to you about what kind of research you'll be doing for that. But we do have a comment from one of the fans of our show. We haven't seen you in a long time, Nat. Nat from Las Vegas. Nice to have you back with us. Nat is a writer herself, and she writes horror, science fiction, sci-fi, and mystery. So thank you so much, Nat. So, Robert, when you were talking about this next series that you're looking to do, what type of research will you have to do, or will you just go with your backgrounds in technology and then extrapolate from there?
Yeah, my background in technology will be one area that I'll use. I'm also a science geek as well, so I've been studying. I study a lot of and read a lot of science, and I'm very interested in what's going to happen with social media. That's the big unknown. I think it's quite possible that social media could become so toxic that it actually dies under its own weight, or certainly in the form that it is now. I'm on Facebook, and I quite enjoy Facebook. I used to be on Twitter, but I found it such a horrible place where people were just brutal with each other. And I'm kind of interested to see how social media develops. So that's one area. Virtual reality is going to be a huge area. And in fact, I know what the first crime is going to be in the first book. And it's a crime that is impossible to commit today because the technology isn't there for us to commit it, but it's based around virtual reality. So, plus I'm a bit of a politics geek as well. So I'm interested in how politics is going to develop. Will we get past these kind of extreme left and right views that people have and the bubbles they live in? Will we get past that, or will it get worse?
Yeah, all interesting topics. We do have a couple more comments from that. You had company last week, so you're busy. Yes, we get that. That's cool. Taking your friends to see shows in Vegas, and tourists are finally returning.
I love Vegas. Great town.
And hello to Anne. Thank you for watching as well. Love the idea of a futuristic police mystery.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Anne. Yeah, I'm quite excited about it myself. I'll certainly start putting words on the page probably late summer. So yeah, so that's great. If Anne goes to my website, she can get on my email list. And also, as an aside, if you like crime thrillers, my first book you can get for free if you go to my website.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. That is really nice. And Anne just writes that she's going to do that. Fabulous.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne.
So, Robert, we talked before the show began about mental health awareness, and we talk a lot about that on this platform. It's such an important topic. And you shared something with Diane and myself backstage. Would you like to tell our audience?
Yeah, I'm subject to depression, and I only ever realized it was depression fairly recently. It's happened throughout my life, and I never really thought, hey, I'm depressed. I think, oh, I'm a bit down, and I'd noticed that my work was dropping off, that I wasn't performing as well as I should perform. And I didn't really realize it was depression. And it was a couple of years ago that I actually thought, I'm depressed and I need to talk to somebody about it. And I talked to my doctor, and he prescribed me a mild antidepressant, and lo and behold, it worked. Depression, I don't need to tell you this, but depression is a electrochemical imbalance in your head. That's about all I know about it. And it's nothing that you can actually say, oh, you need to snap out of it. You can't do that. Sometimes somebody will say something that does snap you out of it, or something will happen that snaps you out of it. But when I get it, it's certainly been worse as I've got older. I become, as it were, mentally paralyzed. I do the things that I have to do. I answer the emails and pay the bills and all of those things. But writing becomes almost frightening. It becomes a chore. And if I write something, I'll look at it and I'll say, nobody's going to want to read that. That's rubbish. So I get paralyzed as a writer. And, today, as we speak, I'm just coming out of turned out to be a 3-month depression. And I've written very little of value in that 3 months. Fortunately, I feel that the weight has lifted from my shoulders, and I feel pretty good now. But my family are super supportive, and which is wonderful. But it's been a tough 3 months.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was very courageous. How do you feel the pandemic impacted your mental health?
It's a good question. It may well have been a contributor. My feeling about depression is that you don't necessarily know what triggers it, what brings it on. Because I can never think back to something like, I got a bad review and that threw me into a depression. Thank God it doesn't, because I occasionally get one. The pandemic, of course, is getting a lot of blame for a lot of depression, and I think rightly so. It certainly impacted our life as a family. We actually moved, although large parts of my head are still in Vancouver. We moved outside Vancouver during the pandemic. My wife realized that she could do her work online. And of course, I do my work anywhere. And so we decided we'd move, and that was directly as a result of the pandemic. And we moved to a smaller town on a lake that's a little east of Vancouver, and we're really enjoying it. But nevertheless, that pandemic is always there. You're always dealing with it, even now, and it could well have been a contributor.
Thank you. Diann?
I agree with everything you said. It definitely is a contributor. But one of the things I love about everything that you're sharing is that, especially when you said, that you looked down an alley and then you were so open to receive messages. And because of that, look where it's taken you. You have a series, which is incredible, because not everybody can write a series. And apparently, they become your very best friend. And I can't wait to see where it goes. And I'll definitely be ordering your book. But I think that you... don't you agree that these messages that you get, and sometimes when I know that you have these moments where just nothing comes to you, but then all of a sudden you get these messages. And that's what I love. And what I'm hearing from you is that when it comes, you're ready to go. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it is. It's funny that you mentioned that. 3 days ago, I woke up and I had these images in my head, this idea in my head of two women standing over a dead body. And I started to think about this, and this may have been one of the things that triggered my release from the depression, because I thought about this, and when I got up, I quickly had my coffee, sat at the computer and wrote the first chapter of a book, which could actually become a future Cal Rogan book. I don't know. But, I wrote it, and I only wrote, 500-600 words, and it was really dark. I mean, it was really, really dark in those first 500 words, why the women were there. And then I got a whole storyline popped into my head, as you mentioned things popping to your head. And it's, if I can relieve the darkness of it a little bit, I think it would make a great book.
And movie, it sounds like.
Yeah, it does sound like a good movie.
Yeah, but it's funny, things come into your head, and one of the things I do, which has been helpful with the depression, is I do mindfulness meditation, and frequently during that, you get to understand that you actually have no control as to what comes into your head. And frequently during or quite immediately after a session, something will pop into my head that is really interesting and something that I want. It may not be about writing, but I love those moments when something jumps into your head. Even sometimes a lot of bad things jump into your head, but usually they're kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I woke up in the middle of the night, not last night, the night before. I was having this completely strange dream that I was with Daniel Day-Lewis and we had 9 dogs. I don't know what the meaning of it was.
9 dogs, not 5, 9.
9, and they were all in this. It's so weird. Anyway, we have some additional comments from that. With writer's block, I just had to get over the fear of writing bad stories. Art is subjective. Some people will like it, some people won't. If you like it, that's what matters most. Thank you so much, Nat. And we have comments. Love your backdrop. Looks great. And that's from someone in our private Facebook group. So we don't know who you are, but we thank you. Robert, I've also pulled up your website. I'd love to have you walk us through that if you would like to.
Sure. Yeah. So if you go to my website, you see all of my books, and you can click on the books to buy them. If you click on the Junkie is the first book. I'm pointing to it on the screen. Junkie is the first book in the series. If you click on that, I'll send you a free copy. So you just send me your email address and I'll email you a link to download it. And if you like it, that would be great. And
tell us about the new release.
Sorry?
Tell us about the new.
Yes. I should take the words "new release" off there because it's been out now for a couple of months. So
that's still new.
I'm actually just as an aside, I'm very proud that I won the gold medal in the Global Book Awards for self-published writers. Got the gold medal for crime thrillers.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's huge.
I was so when I got the email, I was just completely stunned. So, but interestingly enough, that great news, that didn't pop me out of the depression at the time. If I think about it, I think, right 3 days ago, writing that just doing that writing about that odd story, I think that did it. But even the news of winning that gold medal, you know, I was elated for a second, but it didn't actually lift the depression. It's very strange.
I think messages were forming in your mind and you didn't know it until all of a sudden it just came and then bam.
Yeah. Yes.
We're going to take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be back with more to discuss with Robert. So please stay with us. Our first clip is going to be one I think that makes a lot of sense with what we're discussing right now. It's called Take a Moment, and then we'll be back.
Take a moment. Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
Take a moment.
So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diann BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diann's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diann's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diann's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diann's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBOEHM.com. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DiannFloydBOEHM.com.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diann Floyd BOEHM's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DiannFloydBOEHM.com.
welcome back after our Diann Floyd game commercial break.
It was great. Diann, my wife works with autistic children, and she's always looking for books that will deal with what it's like to be different. So as soon as I'm going to send her the link to your website the moment.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. I appreciate it. Thank
Also,
you.
the other ad, the very first person whose face appears on the screen is the wonderful British actor and comedian Stephen Fry, who I'm a huge fan of. Really brilliant. And I know that he still is suffering from depression. So that was really nice to see him with his stature standing up and speaking.
Absolutely. I think that we're hearing people talk about it more and more, especially on this platform. We have a couple of shows that are pretty much dedicated to mental health awareness. So thank you for sharing what your journey's been so far. So for people who are just joining us right now, tell us again about the Cal Rogan crime thrillers and why should people go and purchase these books?
Well, the thrillers feature this chap, Cal Rogan, who in the first book wakes up in an alley covered in blood. He's a drug addict, former cop, thrown out of the police force because of his addiction. And throughout the series, he gets his act together. And one of the most driving forces for him is he has this daughter that he absolutely adores. In the first book, she's 8 years old. No, 6 years old in the first book. And he's doing everything he can to maintain some sort of normal relationship with her. And that's one of the things that drives him, that allows him to get off the streets, work with his addiction. Once an addict, you're always an addict, but he's in recovery. During the books, he has some lapses and some things happen, but constantly he's fighting to be a better person, a better father, and usually he succeeds. Sometimes he doesn't. The books, my writing style was inspired by a chap that I know, Don Maas. He's an author, and he's also a literary agent in New York. And I got to know him fairly well, a really super guy. And one of the things he says is, whatever you are writing, even if it's non-fiction, but particularly with fiction, whatever genre, you must have tension on every page. Every page must make the reader want to read more, and tension is the way you do it. And his wife is Lisa Rector Maas, who is the editor, who helped me, and she basically taught me the craft of writing. Now, I took a bunch of courses as well, because from my first tries, I realized I had a lot to learn. I'm rambling on, but what drives my books forward is tension. And my way of getting that is that I don't plan the book a lot in advance. I'm what they call a pantser. I work by the seat of my pants. I'll get an idea, I'll start writing, then I'll have a good idea of where the plot's going, and I'll map it out in a mind map, so that I've got like a graphical representation of what the plot is. But then I'll just write, and I'll write myself into corners that I have to get out of, and I'll do things that I'm planning for something to happen, and then I'll have something completely different happen, or have somebody do something completely out of character. And that's what, for me, that's the only way I can write, because if I can surprise myself, I can surprise the readers. So yeah, I've rambled on a bit about that.
Thank you for sharing that. Numerous people have told me that crime is one of the top genres all the time. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah, well, the numbers say that it is true that crime thriller, mystery, and one of the top genres, and romance, of course, is the biggie. More people read romance books than anything else, and I really admire those romance authors. They are amazing. Some of those authors put out, books, 15 books a year. And I just don't know how they do it. Absolutely amazing. And lots of them, the people are often a bit condescending about romance. They say, oh, that's all just silly stuff. But some of those, I've read a couple of romance books, and it's not a genre that's for me, but some of those writers are really, really good writers. They definitely have tension throughout their books, and you definitely want, even though, I don't really believe in the story, I want to see what's happening next. I keep turning those pages.
It's interesting. I'm not I'm not a lover of romance books either. I like crime and mysteries. They're my favorite. What about you, Diane?
I love mystery, but yeah, I love a good romance. So like I'm a Hallmark girl. My husband's like, you already know what's going to happen. I go, I know, but it's so sweet. Hence children's books.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you'll agree, Diane, that some of those authors are really good authors. Even though you know what's going to happen in the end,
right?
You still want to know how their journey develops.
Absolutely. And even when I go to watch musicals, I might have to go watch it a second time just because I want to watch how the actors bring that character to life, or how the stage happens in order for the character to come to life. So in any form of storytelling, there's so much that goes into it. Another type of author that I just truly admire is historical fiction authors. I'm just like, oh my gosh, all that research. So, but what I love about you is, so I understand software development. I did a lot of consulting work with Apple a long time ago. So that is hard to write, software development. And I love how you're taking that and getting ready to weave it in, or maybe it's already woven in some ways, but where you're going futuristically is like, I'm like so excited, especially that virtual reality. Keep your messages. You might switch me over from romance.
Virtual reality is so interesting where it could go. One of the things in the book that I'm planning for 2045, everything that will be in that book in terms of technology will be something that is currently either in existence or under development. And one of the things that I think will be a huge virtual reality thing is totally immersive suits, where you wear a suit over your clothing. So if you are, say, playing a shooter game, if you get shot back, and you get a pain in your shoulder if you're shot in the shoulder. There are all sorts of applications, some of them fairly unsavory, for that sort of technology. And so I could see that being I could see it being addictive in exactly the same way as heroin is addictive now.
I agree.
So virtual reality is really interesting. I don't like experiencing it myself because it always makes me feel nauseous, but but it's a fascinating subject.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that yesterday on our show, the United Kingdom News and Culture.
Mhm.
We are coming to the end of our show as we have another
Oh.
show. I know it's always so hard to go. We have back-to-back shows today, but Robert, what would you like the audience to take away from the show today?
Well, a burning desire to buy my books, of course. Yeah, I'd like people to know that I guess we've talked a lot about depression. If you're depressed, one of the hardest things to do is to pick up the phone and make an appointment with your doctor, and that's a good first place to go. Yeah, I think that's, as we've talked a bit about depression, I think that's something that I'd like people to know.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And that is wonderful. And can you share with our audience, how can they get in touch with you? How can they purchase your books?
Okay, the best thing to do is go to my website, which is robertpfrench.com. I think it's on the screen right now. And all my books are there. The first book, Junkie, if you click on that, you can get a free link to download it. All the other books are available on Amazon. They're for sale, and they're also on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're a Kindle Unlimited user, you can read them for free, or for the price of being a Kindle Unlimited user. Also, all my books are available in paperback and in large print paperback. So, the links are on my website to all of those things.
Great.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. And you're welcome to come back on any of our other shows. Just go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and book your session, maybe for Adversity to Awesome or the Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. There's a number of choices.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was lovely to talk to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. We look forward to seeing you again.
And I can't wait to go download my book after the show.
Yes, I'm going to do
Atta
it as well. All right. Bye for now, Robert.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. He was delightful.
He was, and I'm so excited to learn about these his books. And my husband loves crime and mystery, and so he's going to be excited to learn about new series.
Yes, I'm excited to purchase it myself. So, Diane, we're going to close out the show. I'm going to spotlight you, and if you can share information with our audience about how they can get your books and how they can get in touch with you.
You're so sweet, Dr. Jacalyn. Yes, everyone, you can go to my website, DIANNFLOYD.com, DIANN. FLOYD, B as in boy, OEHM.com. And I sign up for my newsletter, and I look forward to hearing from you. And you can find out how to get my books there, and they're on Amazon. Thanks, Dr. Jacalyn.
All right. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here, Diane.
Always a pleasure. Love you.
Love you too. I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. And as we close out the show, I just want to make an announcement. My second book is coming out. Let me find my graphic. And we are having a live book launch party, which if any of you authors out there ever want to do this, you can let me know. So the live book launch party is on May the 4th, and it's at 3 p.m. Eastern time, which is 8 p.m. British Summer Time. So we will have the authors who joined me in this book. This is a compilation of 12 chapters that are each done by a different author. My chapter is in there as well. And we will have a live show where we encourage you to go and order the book so that we can be a #1 bestseller on Amazon and do it actually during the live show. So for now, that's all that we have for this show. Our next show coming up is the Film and Music Show. And my co-host is Madeline Chan. She's joining us from London. And our guest is Rocco Buonvino. And we have some incredible, let me just share just a couple of the graphics. He has done events for a huge number of celebrities around the world. I'm not going to steal the thunder with any more pictures, but do join us. That's coming up right after this, followed by the Wise Ones, and then the Talking Head series. And our expert today is Mr. Red O'Loughlin, who also happens to be the co-host for the Wise Ones, and he is my book coach. So I hope you can stick around for that. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please do click subscribe. This week we will have 28 live shows. So if you want to be able to watch our shows on the live or the replay, please do it on our YouTube channel, USA Global TV. All right, thanks for now. I'll be back in less than 15 minutes.